Hey friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we got some much needed rain. So a rainy day here at Creekside. But you know what? A little rain means I can't be in the garden, but that does not mean we are not productive. Those rainy days often turn out to be the most productive. The whole team is up here at production, the annex, helping with shipping, picking orders, because I know it seems really easy sometimes. You put those beautiful plants in your cart and you click order now, and then they just kind of magically appear in your doorstep, all ready to be added to your garden. But there is a ton of work that goes into delivering you beautiful, strong, healthy plants. So today's gonna be a little bit of a behind the scenes on this rainy morning here at Creekside Nursery. We are doing a little bit of everything. So if you've ever wondered how a small business nursery grower retailer operates, then this is a great video for you because this is going to show you real life happenings here at Creekside Nursery. Like I said, it is the entire team here. So we have got everybody either picking orders, organizing the plants, shipping, answering customer service questions, you name it, we are doing it here today. So come on and let's have some fun together here on a rainy day at Creekside. Rainy days at Creekside shift us from gardening mode into full production mode. And so you can see here the back side of the racks that these are the orders that have already been pulled. We have got everybody on board. We've got Brittany out there on the shrub lot picking an order. And then we've got Cece and Ariberto in here right now. Jerry is organizing plants in the greenhouse, so we will check in with him also here in just a second. All right, just to kind of walk you through the process really quick on how this works. So every day, Catherine provides our team with a stack of orders. So we have got a stack right here, and then we've got another stack over here. We are currently shipping zones 7 and above. We should get done with zone 7 this week. So that is the goal. So what happens is we just come along and you just pick up the next sheet. So this is actually going to Catherine in Illinois, and she got a Frost Kiss Dorothy's Dawn Hellebore. So what happens is, so this is Ariberto's station. So he will come, he will get this, he will fold it in half like this one because we need it where the barcode will show. He grabs a Ziploc bag, puts that packing slip in the Ziploc bag because even on a rainy day or not a rainy day, we don't want these papers to get wet. So then what he does is he comes and he looks, and so this SKU number is 6414. It tells him what location to go in, and so he will go and pull that, and then it goes on the rack here. So you can see if there's big spaces between the packing slips, that means that that's a good size order, and those orders, all those trays are for one person. Some people will order only one plant. So you see right here, we've got a bunch of small orders right there where they had ordered just one plant. And then we will have orders that can completely take up multiple racks by ordering just hundreds of plants. So folks are moving around and grooving. So you get that order and then it is packed up, and then you go and you pick up the next order. And then today, because it's all hands on deck, Jerry is sorting the plants. And you go, well, what do you mean he is sorting the plants? Well, let me explain. Okay, so before we get into showing you what Jerry's doing, Ariberto asked if I was all done videoing because he needed to take the racks. So we're gonna follow him up here. So once the rack is full, we kind of do this in different sections. So it pulls it up here, and we're going to head up to the annex so that these babies can get packed up in their box and head out on the FedEx truck to their new homes this afternoon. All right, so Ariberto has brought the cart in to here. And so once your cart with your order gets in here, at this point, what they're going to do is take it. They're going to clean up any of the plants that need to be cleaned up. That means that possibly if there was, you know, a broken leaf, or if there was something on there that needed to be cleaned up, then they go ahead and clean it up. Of course, when we are picking these orders, picking the plants, we want to make sure that they have a really strong, healthy root system. So if we see a hydrangea that has a broken leaf on it, or a euchera that has an older leaf at the very bottom that is brown and dead, that is not a problem. Like the shrubs and the perennials, the annuals, these are strong, healthy root systems. So that is what we're sending to you. So next step. So Jesus is pulling them off, and he is going to pull them off by order. So like we said, some of these are just one tray, but some of them are multiple trays. So he knows to go ahead and pull that whole order at one time. So then he's going to look it over, make sure everything's good, and then he's going to verify it. So remember, we talked about on the packing slip how there is that barcode right there. So he will take the scanner and he scans that barcode, and then your order will magically appear on the iPad. And so at that point, once it pops up, then he goes through and scans every single plant. So he's making sure that all the plants are turned the right way. So see, okay, so there it goes. So it was pulled up, and then it is checking off and saying, yep, we got that plant. So as he checks off each individual plant, it is going to verify, and so that we know that everything is good. You hear that little click? That's music to our ears. That's what we love. So once the entire order has been verified, meaning that we know that you got exactly what you ordered, then it'll make a whole nother sound, and that order will then be complete. So then it comes on down to Jose. What he is doing, as you can see, every plant gets a brown paper bag. So it gets that sleeve, so it protects it, and it goes in there. So once all that's done, then we come down to Will, and Will is the packer, and he's an absolute machine. So that tray came down, he finds the box, he knows exactly, does this go into a 4 count, 8, 12, or 16? So this is a bigger order, so it's going into that 16 count. He goes and grabs the dividers, opens it up. It's kind of like a wine box is what I tell people. So there's all those little dividers, and then he grabs them and then makes sure that they're in there nice and secure. So then he fills up all of the boxes, and then it moves on down to Debbie. And then Debbie does, typically, if it's just a single order, like one single box, it'll just be a couple of clicks. But this is where she prints your packing label, so your shipping label rather. So that shipping label goes on. Now, as soon as that shipping label is printed, you're gonna get something very special. So as soon as your shipping label is printed, that is going to send you an email. And that email has your tracking number from FedEx. So if you don't see something, make sure you check your spam or your other folder, because as long as you've provided us with an email, then you're going to get that email that says, congratulations, your order is shipped. Here's your FedEx tracking number. We have gotten quite a few of customer service questions about when's my order going to ship. Like I dealt with, answered a lady on social media today, and I was like, well, actually, it's already shipped and it's going to be delivered today. You would have received an email. Make sure you check your spam or your other folder. As a side note, social media is not really the best place to ask questions about your order, because we're not guaranteed to see them. So we've always said, if you have a question about your order, one, check the website, because at the top of the website it says we're currently shipping zones right now is 7 and higher. So if you're in a zone 6 and you say, where's my order? Well, we're still in zone 7. So check that. If you have a true concern, if there was a problem with your order or something like that, you're going to email us, or you can call us. So I will have all that information in the video description. But again, social media, not the best place because I may miss it. You know, social media can be weird sometimes, especially Facebook puts it on weird places. So next step, you get your shipping label, you get your email, then the fun tape machine happens. All right, let's head back over here and we're going to check in with Jerry. And oh, here comes Heriberto with more plants, more plantas. Más plantas. We're all learning Spanish around here. Our Spanish is not very good. Thankfully, our guys are very good teachers. And so, yeah, we're all learning Spanish and English all together. And then you got Jackson over here doing equipment maintenance. So he is greasing all of the joints on the cat, I'm telling you. And then Catherine is the one that is going to be one of your main customer service points of contact. So she's going to be returning phone calls. She's going to be answering emails. She keeps this ship running around here for sure. So when you talk about a small family business, we're not lying, people. It is, 10 employees around here. And then, yeah, so when we say we're a small family business, we're not joking. We are certainly not Amazon. Okay, so Jerry let's focus over here. Jerry is sorting the plants. So what I'm talking about is, he's following me. When we are potting, because you have been with us in quite a few times where we have done like production videos when we are potting. And unfortunately, when you quote get plants like from Proven Winners, for example, right? So these are annuals because that's what he's dealing with right now. Typically in a tray, there's 84 plants, right? So there's 84 annuals. That's the size tray that we get. But the tray that holds the finished product, the finished annual, is a 10 count tray. So do the math. If you've got 84 plants, but a tray only holds 10, then that means what? That's right. You have 4 plants that are left over. So then what do you do with that? Well, you don't just put 4 plants in a tray and leave 6 empty holes because that wastes way too much space. So what we do is we hold all those plants till the end of the potting day, and then they're all potted, and then we just put them in trays together. So what does that mean? So that means that you are left with a section, as Jerry said, the cottage garden section. This is the miscellaneous pile because these are going to be trays that are mixed trays. So for example, you have got a tray that has some Bidens in it, 2 different kinds, and some Angelonia. You have got a tray with sweet potato vine along with Cleome, and so forth and so on. So obviously we want to sell these plants and send them home to you, but we can't really pick them in this state. So that's where Jerry comes in. So what he's doing, he's so happy about it. So what he's doing is he's coming through and sorting them, and then if a plant needs to be trimmed, he is trimming it. Obviously, they're not going to get sent immediately right after they've been trimmed, but that's what he's doing. So for example, let's look at this. Okay, we got what, Diamond Snow right here? Well, Diamond Snow is beautiful and perfect. So he's going to find where Diamond Snow is out in the greenhouse and add it to that pile. What are you thinking about trimming? Were you going to trim anything?
I'm not going to trim any of this. I just popped off a couple of coleus.
So he said he's not going to trim any of this. He just popped off the tops off some of the chocolate drop coleus because maybe they were starting to go ahead and begin to bloom. So he just snipped those off. So then he's going to take those and put them out.
Yeah,
What?
the worst part on this section is the petunias kind of got out of control, so we have to cut all that back.
So that's what I was getting ready to say. I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the petunias, especially over here at like Jazzberry and Mini Vista Yellow. There's some, I don't know what else is in there. The Hoopla Vivid Orchid. Yeah, they need
So we would take
they need a
something
little
like
help.
this right here, just cut it. There's nothing fancy about it.
Yeah, so all of you that are having heart attacks right now because he just totally whacked that plant, do not freak out. That is how y'all.
This one's not too bad, but we're gonna go ahead and do it.
This creates a very tight plant.
Yeah, these are extras, so we're just gonna get them right.
Right. So these are extras. Get them right. Petunias grow and bloom on new growth rather. So by pruning them back.
Like this one got really wild.
Yeah, so you got Bermuda Beach. That is just crazy. So he is cutting it, giving it a very big haircut, and
It'll be interesting.
it'll come back just fine and be nice and thick. Obviously, we're not going to send that plant to you right now. Same thing with your Super Bells.
It's in the greenhouse. This section's gotten out of hand, you know, and we just got to come in and try to fix it the best we can.
That's right. So that is what he is doing. So we were talking about just a minute ago about we don't want to send you your plants until the root system is nice and strong. So case in point, it has been a long time since I have picked orders. I used to pick orders all the time, but given the scale and I have to film videos 5 days a week, I don't really pick orders much anymore. But this morning, all hands on deck, so that's what I was doing. And so I happened to be picking Laura, L-O-R-A, Laura from New Jersey. And she had a really nice size order. She had perennials and annuals and shrubs in there, but she also had the praying hands hosta. And so I went to go pull the praying hands hosta, and I was like, "Argh." So here's the praying hands hosta. Also, FYI, we got in the Creekside Champions containers. Aren't they pretty? Oh, so pretty. But look at this. So praying hands recently, within the last 2 weeks, I think, has been potted up. So still a pretty small hosta. We do not see any roots coming out of the bottom. I took it out of the container, and we do not have roots that are fully rooted all the way around this pot. So guess what? She is not going to get this. I made a note on her packing slip saying that the roots were not ready yet, but as soon as they're ready, they're going to get sent to her. But then on the flip side, she also had some raspberry rush pulmonaria in there. And y'all, when I tell you the roots were coming out the bottom, oh my gosh, this was the healthiest root system. So she's going to put it in her garden, and it is going to explode and take off and be very, very happy. That is what we want. So we're having to make judgment calls as we're going through and saying, yes, these plants are ready. They absolutely can go. Or no, these plants were delayed in getting to us, so they're going to be delayed getting in to you, because our ultimate goal is to give you the strongest, healthiest, prettiest plant that we possibly can do. And as Jerry says all the time, we're not shipping t-shirts, people. We're shipping live plants. These things have a, quote, mind of their own, depending on the weather conditions. When do they get to us? How long does it take? If it's a hot weather plant and it's been cool, then that takes a long time. Or if it's a perennial, it's going to take a little bit longer time for the roots to grow out than if it's an annual. So there's a lot of variability in all of this, and we are doing our absolute best to get them out to you, like I said, as quickly, efficiently, and accurately as possible. So then what have I been doing other than sitting here yapping with you? Well, because the focus has been so heavy on getting the orders out, things are starting to get a little messy around here. So what do I mean when they're getting a little messy? So when our folks are coming, they of course are picking by the SKU number. They're not picking and looking at like the plant name per se. They're making sure that their SKU number is accurate. So then they're just coming in and grabbing plants. They're grabbing the prettiest plant that they see. And inevitably, we're going to get like empty trays. We're going to get trays that can be condensed. We can get areas that need to be a little bit separated. We've got, you know, like for example, right here, you've got unplugged pink. Well, this unplugged pink in this first tray, there's 4, but I've got 6 holes back there. So then I'm going to go through and condense and then make sure that everybody's nice and neat and straight and tidy and all in a row, and so that everything looks good and is easier for our folks to pick. Now, sometimes there is a benefit to you, sweet customers, because if we make a mistake in ordering, then we have an overabundance of plants sometimes. And if you're a customer of Creekside, you know that sometimes that happens. And so we've got one of those situations right now. We have got gorgeous Dichondra Silver Falls, but we have got a ton of it. So Jerry was like, perfect timing. He said, you're doing this video? That means that we are going to put the Dichondra Silver Falls 50% off, my friends. Let me show you how gorgeous they are. There we go. We have got a beautiful carpet of the Dichondra Silver Falls. This is the Creekside Champions. But if you're familiar with this plant, then you know that they can get really friendly with their next door neighbor. So when you pull it out, it has rooted already to their next door neighbor. So what Jerry's going to do is he is going to come through and he's going to give everybody a haircut. So my friends, Dichondra Silver Falls is 50% off, but it will come to you already trimmed. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when it comes to you. It has gotten a haircut. Now, as we previously talked about, class, is this a problem? Does this hurt the plant? No, it does not. It actually helps the plant get nice and thick and tight. So hear me when I say this with all the love and tenderness in my heart. As a former middle school teacher, y'all, you're getting the plant for 50% off. It's got a haircut. It'll be fine. Don't send us an email saying, oh my gosh, it got trimmed. Well, yes, sugar, it did, but you also got it 50% off. The root system is massive on this thing. It's going to be gorgeous. We use Silver Falls in hanging baskets, in containers. It's a beautiful spiller. Put it in the landscape. It makes a great ground cover. So, the Creekside Champions, Dichondra Silver Falls, 50% off. It will come to you trimmed. And then, of course, the final step to this whole process is once we take those boxes, those precious sweet plants that we have so tenderly nurtured and cared for, we now put them in the hands of FedEx. We have a great FedEx driver that comes every day, typically Monday through Friday, also on Saturdays if we need them, in a tractor trailer. So the tractor trailer shows up, he's great, we load him up, and off he goes. At this point, we say a prayer over those plants because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how the conveyor systems are working at FedEx. You don't know what the workers who, load the trucks that are out for delivery to you. We don't know what they do. Then you're a truck driver. Y'all, may the odds be in these plants' favor. That is why we have spent so much time and money researching and developing our custom boxes, how we package these plants, so that if your box, you go out there on your front step and you're so excited and it's turned upside down or is sideways and they're not following the directions on the box. I mean, we've got big arrows this side up, live plants, all this other stuff. And some drivers are amazing and they do a great job and they take very good care. Those FedEx drivers, we love you. Thank you so much. And then other times, well, as we say here in the South, bless their heart, because they are every which way. So if you get your box, your plants, and your box is upside down, and if you have a broken stem, you have a broken leaf, y'all, I promise, what did we say earlier? Root system. We're going for a strong root system. So if you have a broken stem or you have a broken flower, it's okay. Just trim it off and plant it. Trust me, have you not seen some of the terrible plants that I have rescued and planted, and they flourish and they do great because they have a strong, healthy root system? Same thing for you. So again, once they leave here, it's out of our complete control over how FedEx takes care of them. I would say 9 times out of 10, because of our packaging, they arrive perfect condition. Maybe a little soil moved around, it's all right. A little dirt don't hurt. Now, what we're going to do is we have a very fun afternoon planned. So you're just going to kind of hang out with us just here in TV time. It won't be too terribly long. Go with us through the day. We'll get the truck loaded up with today's orders, and then we have a fun celebration this afternoon. Okay, my friends, so we are ending the day, I think, kind of where we started. It is just about 6 o'clock in the evening, and the the truck came. We got it all loaded. There's a fun little story there. So the truck typically comes somewhere around like 3-ish o'clock. And then of course we loaded up, and then the fellas start picking for the next day. Well, today the truck was exceptionally late, which we weren't upset at all with that, because that just meant we were able to pick more orders, get more orders boxed, and get more orders onto the truck. So it turns out that we did 302 orders today that we fulfilled, but that included 5,599 plants. So we got 5,099 plants out, 5,599 plants on their way to their new homes today. So that averaged out, I think, to 18.9 plants per order. Which that means that we had some pretty big orders in there, because as you saw, we had some orders that only had 1 plant. So when you have larger orders, obviously those take more time to fulfill than a bunch of small orders. So we kind of gauge our progress and our success of the day by the number of plants that go out, not necessarily the number of orders that go out, because you could have an order that's 300 plants. You could have an order that is 1 plant. But it was a massive stack of boxes, filled up that FedEx truck to the end. So it was wonderful. And then it was the perfect day to have banana splits that Mimi provided for us. I told Jackson, I said, thanks for having a birthday, buddy. And so it was a great way for us to kind of celebrate and end the day, not only for their birthdays, but to having a great day of getting some great teamwork done and getting the orders out. So the fellas will be pulling orders tonight. So that's kind of how the normal day operates. So they will get about 15 racks pulled, and then they call it quits for the day and go home and collapse and crash. But it has been a great day. It started out rainy. We have nothing but blue skies and sunshine right now. And so we are off to go celebrate Jackson's birthday. So he always requests homemade pizza for his birthday. So that is what we will be doing. And then tomorrow morning we will be at the DMV bright and early so he can get his license, because yeah, he turns 16. So he is going to be a legal independent driver as of tomorrow. So as always, we do these videos so that you can get a glimpse into what life is like here when you run a small business, a small retail nursery, e-commerce nursery. Yeah, because we like to show you exactly how plants come to be. They just don't magically appear at the garden center. They don't just magically appear on your doorstep. There is a lot of attention, care, detail, and tons and tons and tons of hard work and dedication that go into it. But we so appreciate all of your support. I love seeing all of those sweet, positive comments on videos and social media about your orders. So we appreciate you. That's all I got to say about that. We love you and we appreciate you. As always, we'll see you in the next video. Bye, my friends.